Hey YouTube, this is Jack from Curious Culture, and today I'd like to talk about navigating low moods. So, yeah, as we all know, life isn't always perfect, and we get our down times. Sometimes we feel flat, anxious, just not ourselves. And I want to make this video to reassure you of the power of some simple practices that bring us through those stagnant times. Now, what I did today is I went to the gym and I only did about 20 minutes. But what I did is I used the rowing machine, and I was in a bit of a flat mood, but what I did is I just focused on looking at the chain of the rowing machine come back and forth. And I just focused on that, and it was, I was already in like a dull state of mind, and things can get a bit bland. So I'm just like, well, I'll just be with the rowing machine and just do 20 minutes, and it doesn't have to be some big workout. And it felt like, when they say emotional flatness, like you imagine like it's like that, right? And when I do something simple, like 20 minutes of rowing, A, I get out of the house. B, I bumped into a INTJ friend at the gym and had an awesome conversation where we both just shared like our honest thoughts and that about life and navigating some sort of stagnant times. So it's interesting how that happened. Um, Sorry about the hiccups. And I said that I'm doing this channel, and I said that I just like to be authentic, and he said that's great, and I just say what I feel like I want to say and do what I enjoy with his videos. And yeah, this is just a very real sort of opinion about what it can be like sometimes when life's a bit flat. But when after I did those 20 minutes of rowing, it feels like a 10% shift in my mood. But what I think is like important is that you go from there to that bit of a better trajectory from that small action. Um, and when you do that, it can then lead into a lot more small things that then end up in a big result. And that's what I think people can miss about doing small things for your mental health. I love the humble attitude of clients I have in support work. I went to a Buddhist monastery the other day for the second time with a client who now finds a lot more peace after being there, and I love how the client was real and honest about the stress in their life, and then we got to sit in front of a Buddhist monk, and they just radiate that calmness and wisdom from their life. Because what happens, I think, is that people can slow down in life and get stagnant and not feel very resourceful, but when you go to a Buddhist temple and you see a monk that emanates that calm and peace, it shows that you can learn to just be okay with yourself and at peace with nothing. So on days when everything's too much, don't feel bad about turning to practices like Buddhist meditation and other internal practices that can help you discover more of that inner peace and inner resourcefulness. So yeah, the gym can take the edge off, and then I had a cold shower, so one thing led to the next, and I mean it's like 30 degrees today, so that wasn't too difficult, but like I said to my INTJ friend, I said that I need the exercise first and then read, because he said he's been in a rut where he's unemployed and has been out of work for 6 or so months, and he's but he's finding some structure with the gym, and he's now trying to read one book a month. What I think is strong about small things like that is, we can then move into the next phase of our lives, like using his life as an example, is that he then finds work that he enjoys, and the gym and the reading helps towards that, to be a more positive person going into that next phase. So I encourage you to take small steps. If you feel like your life is stagnant, trust in your ability to navigate and take daily small steps, and they make all the difference in changing your life. And the fact is that we all come back to those days, no matter where we're at in life. The most successful people still go to the gym and use it as a way to cope and get that better trajectory in their mood for other things to flow. Some people say the gym makes running a business effortless because of the clarity that comes from exercise. So you can see how the most simple, almost free things always help. Reading books is super important for a lot of wealthy people, and you can read books for free at the library. So these practices are both important for people that could be, in situations where they're unemployed and sort of confused about where they're going, and also for people that are very rich and want to work on their mindset with books and exercise. So it's all about, like, hey, if you've got nothing going on in your life, no job, whatever, like some people that I've met, but it's like you still have that option to exercise, and that's huge, because you're doing a habit that is the foundation for really successful people's lives. So you're halfway there by doing that. That half is a lot bigger than not having that half. I've seen people, like, I've been a support worker for quite a few years, and I've seen people not do anything for their mental health, and it's far worse than doing something. So the exercise, the reading, massive, 50% or more, even more, because that 50% can then easily push you into a much healthier way of life, where you're then fit to do a job, smart from the books. These things are very powerful, and so if you're going through a hard time, I encourage these small steps. Go to the shops, talk to someone nice, try and strike up an interesting conversation. I went to a place like an oil shop to get oils from my massage course, and I struck up a conversation, found out the guy who ran the shop actually was the teacher of all the teachers in my college, and gave me some good advice. We had a good chat. He had a great energy about him. You never know what can happen. You walk out your door, you go to a shop you like, the universe then puts someone there that you like, and you talk about something of a shared interest, and you can be surprised as to how then that leads to other things. So I did that earlier in the day. I talked to some nice people at office work, so I then went to the gym, had a chat with my mate, and made my part a nice dinner and stuff like that. And no matter who you are, where you're at in life, the basics and fundamental principles of a good life are always massive. And I encourage you, if you're in a hard place, to have faith and feel that inspiration that you are being pulled to do small actions that actually have a lot more influence in your life than you realise. So I hope this video has helped some people out there, and I wish you a lovely day. Bye.